Setting up an agency VCM site. As we said before, the key to successfully using a case management software is analyzing your agency's goals for providing services to your community, then recording and reporting data for those services. The Virtual Case Manager software will allow you to create custom programs and services, staff roles and staff, client profile fields, even custom forms that match your agency's goals. The VCM administrator has access to tools needed to set up your agency's site. So far, we've talked about agency details, system preferences, staff security roles, creating staff, program sources, and agency services. In this lesson, we're going to talk about custom client profile fields and custom client forms. I'm going to log in to the Virtual Case Manager to a demo site. You'll note that you can't see any of the password because that's security reasons. It's protected, but it's in the system. I'll go ahead and log in. So what we're looking for, this is a opening page. Sometimes it opens to a slightly different page, but our main concern is this tab right here, the admin tab. And if you're an administrator, that will show up when you log in. If another one of your staff logs in and they don't have admin security rights as set up in staff security roles, then this will be missing and it will not be on there. In other words, everybody doesn't need to be able to get into the program and change the program around. That's what the system administrator does. So we're going to click on admin. And as we've said before, on the left side of the page are administrative tools, different ones that we've looked at. And on the right side of the page are a whole grouping of different kinds of reports that can be customized. What we're going to look for today, we're going to scroll down, is client profile fields. So we've logged on and we're looking for client profile fields. So a client profile field is something that's built into the client's home page that allows you to keep track of certain kinds of information pertinent just to that client. So to get to that, we log on, we looked under advanced configurations for client profile fields. You can control what fields are viewed, and you can add to those fields once you get into this. So I'm going to go back to so I'm going to scroll down. Here's advanced configuration, client profile fields. I'll click on that. And these are built-in client profile fields. And at this point, we're showing all of these when we would open up a client's home page. We might not need all of those. Maybe you don't keep track of language or employment status. So all we would have to do is uncheck it, save it, and then that employment status field does not even show up. Now, in some agencies, you have certain requirements that you need to keep track of for reporting purposes that you end up using for funding. And if it's a required field, you check mark it here and save it. And then what that means is when you open a client up and you go to edit their demographic page, which is where the profile fields show, then you have to put something into that field. Now, we can add additional profile fields that are beyond this. Here's a whole group of profile fields that I've added previously. And you can determine what type of field it is. Is it a text field? Is it a drop down or an input? And you can even put a sort order so that you can show these fields, as I have right here, right after the built-in fields and in what order. You can also keep them active or inactive. They're very similar to what you've done over here. You can also make some of the fields required, that you make sure that that field has to be filled out before you're allowed to save that information. And you even can show, if you want those particular additional fields to show up in the combo report. Now we're going to add a field just for a choice. Now you'll notice up here we have names for all of these, but maybe under education, for example, I want to show a different set of choices than what we have built in. So, and right here, level of education allows me to do that. The the key is you have to change the name. You can't have education up here and education down here as an extra client profile field. In a SQL database, two fields with the same name will cause an error. So we changed the name just a little bit. I'm going to add in um, another one, and we'll just call this veteran status. And so up here we have veteran, but down here it's slightly different. And I have my choice. Do I want a number field, a yes, no, which would just be a checkbox, drop down, or even a date field? I'm going to use a drop down, and I can add in the options. So I'm just going to make these up. Active status, inactive status, National Guard, or let's put this, reserve. I could put in more. I'll just use those three. I'm going to close this, and you'll see now, if I go to options, here are options. I'll close this. And we're going to save this change that we've made. All right. Now we have these fields, and later when we show you a lesson about actually opening up clients and the different parts of the client homepage, then you'll see where those fields come into play. And this is a reference sheet that you can use, kind of outlines exactly what I've just talked about. Make sure you always save any changes. And then the other part is custom client forms. Now, there's an excellent video on the help page that talks you through how you create a custom client form for a client. Now, to get to that help page, I'll show you. I'm going to go back to our Virtual Case Manager demo site, and up here is a question mark, and that is taking you to the help page. These are videos that are built in, and the one that I'm referring to here is the custom client forms. This is an excellent video that will show you how to create that custom client form. By the way, this is an image of the client home page. And back in here, we'll show you later how you can change the demographics, add new demographics, but we also want to be able to add custom forms. And this video goes into much detail about how to do that. So if you need a reference on how to create a custom client form, go to this video and it will help you out greatly. This is an image of a custom client form. You can see here I've created different kinds of fields in this form. Now this form might be one that many agencies use, will create their own entry form for a client when they first come into the program. And it will give you the information that you need to keep track of specifically for this client. Now, in this case, we have drop-down lists, we have option buttons, we have dialog boxes that you can put information in, and so on. You can even put a narration preview of information that's very similar to like a notepad representation of what's been put into that form. I'll open up again. I'm going to real quickly go to a client, and I'll just Sherlock Holmes, and we've got several. The one I'm looking at is on this page right here, and it's going to open up Mr. Holmes. And once it opens up Mr. Holmes to their homepage, here are the different client fields. And real quickly, I'll just show you all of these fields from about here up are built in, and these are additional ones that we've added, including veteran status, which we just added. But I'm going to go to custom forms, and you can see I've made several. I'll just pick out one, and it should open it up. You can see that I've already used this several times, and I'll just pick out one of the later ones that I've done. Well, this will be fine. And on this form was made for an agency just that they made to show they wanted to be able to determine whether a client was eligible or how much eligibility they had to receive utilities. So this is a form that they've added in a drop down of federal government guidelines for poverty. This is the number of people in the family and how much they can make, or the HEAP guidelines for families, and also what are they additionally getting, and so on. Now, at the bottom, you can even, if you have a signature pad, you can even have a client sign it and it's stored online with their signature. And then this is a custom form narration template. Here it's got the client's name, poverty levels. This is information that was put in to this particular one. And if they had signed it, then their signature would be right there. All right, we're going to stop with that. And I want to thank you again for tuning into this short lesson. If you need additional support, you can call this number. This is our help desk phone number, or you can send a support request to this email. Thank you. Have a good day.